Hey guys, this is Jules. So I thought I would just share a little bit of my testimony of some of the struggles I've had in raising my daughter. I looked through some of my past journal entries from 2010, 2011, and so made some screenshots of some just the most pertinent stuff that I thought maybe could be an encouragement. At the time, I never thought I would live to see the end of the tunnel. I never thought Sierra, my child, would ever live to be 18 because I thought I was going to kill her first. So anyway, we'll go into the first journal entry. Give me just a second here. Okay, Tuesday, November 30th, 2010. Lord, I am so frustrated about Sierra. I have been praying over her spiritual well-being for at least 11 years now. So she was 11, I guess, going on 12 or something. Let's see, she was born in 97. Y'all, I'm not good with math. How old was she in 2010? Well, forget it. I'm not good with mental math, so y'all forgive me. How many more years must I pray over her before I start seeing real, lasting results? I'm so tired emotionally, psychiatrically, and spiritually. I continue to pray because it's the right thing to do, although at times I know I'm just going through the motions. I've become so cynical in many ways, especially about Sierra. So let's go on to the next one. This one, okay, a few months later, Tuesday, February 15th of 2011. I wrote this at 9:28 p.m. Earlier today, when I was in the pickup line to get Sierra from school, she was in middle school by this time. I think she was in 7th grade. God showed me something quite dramatic, at least for me, that is. I've been wanting the right things for Sierra, but for the wrong reasons. I've been wanting Sierra to have the right heart towards God, and that's all well and good, but I've been wanting her to have that heart towards God for my own gratification and sense of accomplishment. I hadn't realized that. God showed me that I need to desire for her to have that heart for Him and for His glory, not for myself in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but for His glory. It was such a sense of release for me, such a sense of letting go. Once I confessed this to God and asked for forgiveness, of course, nowadays I have to insert, now that I've been under true grace teaching, the way I would respond to something like that would be like, wow, Lord, you showed me that, but you already paid for that sin in my heart. Wow, you've already paid for that. Thank you, Lord, so much. And it's so humbling. That would be the way I would respond to that now. But this was then. So once I confessed this to God and asked for forgiveness and for Him to help me to desire the right things for the right reason, I felt such a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. All right, let's continue. Several months later, Sunday, July 24th, 2011. Okay, as I was having my quiet time, I was telling God in my heart how much I wanted Sierra to be like the 12-year-old girl mentioned in Leslie Ludy's book, Set Apart Femininity, who decided she would never let any person have any part of her heart until God brought into her life the one He wanted her to marry. She eventually married in her 30s, but she was willing to wait and did not date. Well, I was telling God how I wanted Sierra to be like that girl, and God said to me, so you're going to pout because you're not getting what you want? That hit home. So I thank the Lord for showing that to me. So I remember vividly when He showed me that. It was like, wow. I mean, it was like such a way of God putting me in my place, but it was with such love. There was no condemnation in that. It was just conviction filled with love that really was like, wow, okay, I don't need to complain about that any longer. So, yeah, my daughter was extremely difficult. Basically she would yell out, I'm going to kill you in class. basically, she spent a lot of time in ISS. She spent some time in out-of-school suspension as well. She spent a lot of time at that too, but she spent a lot of time at the principal's office. Now, y'all, when I was going through school, I was the bookworm. I had to make straight A's. I never got into any trouble. I was always, I guess what some people would say, the model student, if you will. So I had no reference point for a child like my daughter. I wasn't that way. Now I watched my older sister make all sorts of decisions that led to certain, consequences. And I guess being the younger one, I thought, well, I don't want to make those kind of decisions. So I'll go in the opposite direction, So I became the absolute opposite of my sister. I was the bookworm. I was straight A's. I was, the supposed model student. Of course, the Lord would show me later down the road that I was full of pride because of those things, that I was really no better than anybody else because I was full of the invisible sin of pride. But God would show me that later down the road. So, but when it came to my daughter, I had no reference point. I didn't know how to relate to her because my mind just didn't work that way. So it took me, she's 21 now. I'd say it took me 19 years, really within the last couple of years. I finally started letting go some. Just now, in the last couple of years, I did not realize how stubborn I was, that it would take God 19 years for him to break me of this invisible pride I had, and that he gave me my daughter for a reason, to be a mirror in front of me, to show me the ugliness of pride. Yeah, maybe on the outside, I was maybe doing all the right things and making all the right decisions. But boy, I was still no better off because the ugliness of pride was all up in there. I was just as much involved in pride as my daughter was involved in making all the wrong decisions, So that was a humbling thing for me, but I'm so glad that God did show me that. And I'm glad he didn't give up, that he was willing to wait 19 years for me to finally, get it through my thick skull. All right, Lord, I guess I'm just going to let you do it your way. I am full of pride, So, but anyway, my daughter was a challenge, still is sometimes. She's still a challenge sometimes. Long story short, she loves the Lord now. She is awake to the sign of the times in which we are living. She does believe in the pre-trib rapture. She does have her own walk with the Lord. Although she struggles, she's ADD, like extremely ADHD. So she's very easily distracted, and can be distracted sometimes by things that I wish she wouldn't get caught up in. But those are not necessarily salvific issues, and she's the Lord's. I gotta let the Lord handle that. So anyway, but I'm hoping that maybe this little bit of a testimony with how some of the struggles were with me when I was raising my daughter, that I did finally make it through to the other side. Yes, she did live to see 18. I didn't kill her, So anyway, all right, y'all. God bless.